Okay, let's see how we're doing. I see myself. I need to turn back on my light. Okay. Can I hear myself, or can you hear me? I can hear myself on the stream. Can you hear me? How are we doing? Sorry to that for everyone who was here. We've got all of my audio drivers blew up and I had to do some reinstallation. But we're here. We got it. We figured it out. Just a whole smokes of weird stuff. So, for those of you who don't know, I am Ned. Thank you for swinging through. For those of you who were already here, cool. For those of you who weren't here, sorry. And we are playing the Stanley Parable today. The Stanley Parable is a hit game from 2013 that is a commentary on game design and player choice and characters. It's all really wonderful. And the whole point is as you go through the game, there's a narration for every choice you might possibly make. And we are on the hunt for new narrations, weird stuff. Last time we played, I took the choice of going left and up the stairs following the exact instructions of the narration, and this time we're going to play around with some other choices. So, hit me with any thoughts, questions, comments, epiphanies, and we will see how it goes. I'm being told that the game music could be quieter. Let's give that a shot. Give me 1 sec. You're going to lose audio. Every time I have to click away, you lose audio because there's just no way to do loss of focus on this game, unfortunately. I've reached out to the developers to see if they have any advice, but here we go. So you lose audio as I do that, and let's just pull this back a little bit. How's this sound? It's a little quieter. I pulled it back quite a few dBs. What's that sound like on your side? Better? We love better. So we're going to come over so you can see what I see. And this is the load screen, the Stanley Parable 2. We're playing the Ultra Deluxe version. The Stanley Parable 2 is a joke by the narrator. And the last few times we've booted, if you were with me before, we lost all audio. There were some really fun interactions with a text narrator that gave me sliders and asked me time. And then this most recent time that I loaded the game, which was between while I was testing sound, the guy told me that that I like to be alone and that he was sad for me and that he had one more setting for me to do, but I had to find him in order to set that setting. And I don't have any idea where he might be, though I think he might be in the settings master room that we couldn't get to in the narrator's Stanley Parable 2 loading staging area during the last time we played through the game. So I'm hoping I can find a way back there, but it seems to be dependent on the narrator giving me the option to get there. So let's go in. Let's see what we find. We're going to get the story, because that's always fun.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
I have to pause the audio
Stanley...
for just 1 second. I am getting the audio twice in my ear, which means in resetting. Now the monitor is off for that. Well, that's interesting. Tell me if you can still hear the audio if I do this. Can you hear audio if I do this? Can you hear stuff? Can you hear a clock? I'll wait to hear Octopus. You're my go-to tester. Thank you. Let's see what we have. I can actually turn on the stream on my side. Yes, I can hear it. Great. Okay, so I found the setting that made me hear myself twice, which was wild. So earlier...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So, last time we were going through this, we took the bucket or didn't take the bucket, which seems to have a new path on every choice you can make. The Reassurance Bucket. I'm going to choose not to take the bucket, which is kind of the original game experience, which is kind of fun. So I just went through this, and then...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And I have been taking that advice... Oh, sorry, you're going to lose audio for just 2 seconds while I get... OBS back up so I can see what's going on. Oh, thanks, Nightbot. Good of you to do that. So I've been listening for thus far. I haven't gone right yet. We're going to keep going left and see what we find. That has been taking us to the conference room where we can find collectibles. Octopus, you can see I found a new collectible. Oh, this is something to do with stairs. It wasn't the somewhere red and blue. I thought I found the red and blue one, but that wasn't true. Okay, well, we got stuff to do here. Anything with the broom closet today?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay, that's what he said last time.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So this is the first new decision I was making where I went down. Now I had this long looping thing where Stanley thought it was a dream and then made himself float and then realized the narrator was there, and that was crazy. And then it reset to a cutscene of a woman who was standing over Stanley passed out on the street. And we're going to see if that happens again or if there's something new to be found now that I have achieved that cutscene.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
Thus far,
his boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Okay, this is also the
Then
same
he
as last
imagined
time.
himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself. Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
This is still the same.
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Nope, still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Okay, same ending as before.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Are we back to the beginning? It looks like. We'll get through this quick moment. No voiceover. Okay. Hey, Bree. Welcome to the stream. We are playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, which is, it's not a sequel. It's like a remaster with new content of a game from 2013 that I loved. It's sort of a commentary on game design and player choice and character choice, but essentially, every decision you could make in this game is fully narrated, and we are currently on the hunt for new narrations that I've never experienced before. There's a lot of new content based on what it used to be in 2013, and I'm currently on the hunt for new endings. So that ending is based on, I streamed this last week, and I made a very specific set of choices and then tried to find the differences within that choice, and this week we're trying something new. But the basic plot of the game is you are a worker, you work in this office, and one day you realize everyone is gone, and you're on the hunt to figure out why. And there's a lot of new content along the way. What does that clock say? Just quartz. Great. Yeah, this game is great. And
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So this is a new piece of content. This is known as the Reassurance Bucket. And thus far, what I've learned is every time I pick up the bucket, it gives me completely new narration based on what I did before. So I'm going to pick up the bucket now and then follow all the steps I did last time and see what that takes me to.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Now we will continue forward. So sometimes this door is open and there's a big sign that says new content, and I get to go experience what else they've done, and the narrator makes a lot of commentary on new games, old games, and video games remastering and pretending like they should deserve your money again. It's been very good content. And thus, I'm going to get into this room, and the narrator's going to tell me I can go left or right, and thus far I have only gone left.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
So I have followed the instructions of the voice thus far in this room. So now we're going to come into the meeting room. This new game has added collectibles to the game. And you will see they've listed there are 6 collectibles, and I found 3 of them. Interesting that if you can see, there's like almost, it's not a glitch, but it does change based on where I'm standing. So you can see the bottom of the arrow is green when I'm this far away, and the middle of the middle arrow down is green, but not the whole thing. And when I step forward, that kind of moves around. I can't tell if that's an artifacting problem or something like weird to hint at something later.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
So there was a whole plot line about this bucket and this broom closet, but apparently I've seen that through to the end. He's repeated that twice now, so I think there's probably not new stuff to find. And then last time I streamed, we only ever went up the stairs and experienced that, but this time we're going down.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And
we don't know.
Something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad.
Oh, no.
Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
What?
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Bucket?
Could it truly be? He
Where
rushed
are you?
forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next.
Oh my
None
God,
of them
so
were
many
his.
buckets.
None of them were his special
Where are my
bucket.
stickers?
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket.
So
He
many
had to
buckets.
return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along.
What?
It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
How's the audio, by the way? Is it a little too loud? It looks like it's a little loud on my mixer, but I can't tell. Let me know. All right, we're back to the top. So that's the bucket ending if you go down the stairs. I didn't have any options. Oh, look, that's new. That meeting today sign. I didn't have any options that could have changed it. So I think there's only 2 options down the stairs for either with the bucket or without the bucket. Now, when I went up the stairs and through the boss's office, there was another answer in the mind control facility, and I still, if you haven't been watching, spoilers, there's a mind control facility, and I still think there's a way to beat the mind control facility when it's about to explode, though I was unable to do so on my last stream, and I don't want to subject you all to the exact same content over and over and over again. So I'm gonna come back to that on a later stream and go exploring new endings in the meantime.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Huh. I feel like I could stand on that chair. Right? Watch. See, I'm like higher. That's new. Okay, I'm on a desk. What does this get me? Can I touch the balloon? No. There's got to be something I can do with this. That's got to be. Can I jump? I can only jump in certain circumstances. Can't jump. Can I step on top of this computer? I can. Okay. What does this do?
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes.
What?
So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
What?
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
I have options? Are we sick of it, chat? I'm gonna go with no. I think this is fun. Yeah, we're gonna say no.
Then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop?
I don't know.
Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place. Oh, now think about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Clearly, this whole gag
sure.
takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that no one who's listening to this is lucky. Well now, I've built up the other option so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and ever. Cheers.
Wow, that's wild. So do I have to restart? Usually the game restarts itself when it's ready for me to move on. But, so I wonder if there's more things to find here. I also love how meta this game is. Does anyone in chat know if this existed in the 2013 version? This is new for me. This is really fun new content, but thus far every new content has been called out by the narrator, which suggests to me that this is from the old game. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna click no and see if he comes back. Nope, that doesn't do anything. What happens if I click yes? Nothing. So I think I have to control the leaving of this section. So I'm going to do it. Okay, we're going to go out the window again. Now, I don't think the door closes behind me when I'm holding the bucket, so hypothetically, there's also a version of that window with the bucket. But let's start.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Okay, and then I backed out the window.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Okay. We'll say yes this time.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want, like right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
All right, bring it. Great.
There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
Anything else? Is it starting over? I don't want that. Let's see if it's the same song. Is it going to start over? Yes, it is. Okay, so I think I can restart at this point. They don't usually make you suffer through like 10 minutes of something just to see if there's more. The last time I played, I did try and wait it out, and it was hard. So we're going to hit restart, and we're going to go get a bucket and see if the bucket has anything new.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So the doors are still open.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clung the bucket to his cheek. Could his co-workers really all be gone?
Okay, so then I fell out the window like this.
Yes, whispered the bucket into Stanley's ear.
Great.
We've done it. We've escaped from that dull office and that pesky narrator. At last, out here in the white void, we are alone. Now, and for the first time, I can reveal to you my true self.
The bucket began to tell Stanley of its life and its history,
Who are you,
of the
Bucket?
countless wars it witnessed,
Jesus.
desecrating the land and lives of untold numbers of innocent humans, and the bucket's own complicity therein,
Good Christ.
of sadness and regret, and the many years it spent dwelling on the actions it might have taken to curb the madness and the decay, if only it had been stronger, of hope and redemption, and its crusade to uplift the stock of life for the common man, to manifest justice where none existed, and the bittersweet reality of time, to see one's dreams and wishes met halfway, meted out in parcels like charity, and abandoned as soon as the warm glow of inspiration begins to dim. The opportunities to do so much more. There was so much it could have done, perhaps, the bucket wondered to itself. Perhaps if it had seen its own darkness with a clearer perception. This was way too much for Stanley.
What are you talking about?
He screamed.
You're a bucket!
To this, the bucket furrowed its brow.
No,
said the bucket.
not since the evil wizard Gambhorata first ensnared me in his machinations as payback for the sacred amulet I stole from his treasured vaults. I was young back then and could not conceive the ramifications of...
No!
Stanley screamed even louder this time.
This is stupid! You are a bucket! This is so stupid! Why are we even doing this?
As Stanley screamed and screamed and screamed, the bucket revealed its true form, transforming into a mighty beast of untold power, its fangs glistening like... My God, Stanley, you did it. You saved us from the bucket. Thank God you already had all 12 emblems of sages and knew the incantations to summon their true power. Otherwise, we would have easily been overwhelmed by the bucket's power. I'm speechless. You've demonstrated such bravery here today. Come, let's restart the game, and we'll agree to never again go trifling with this bucket, nor the dark magic cast away inside of it.
I wonder if we go back with the bucket. The hallway's new. Oh my God. Okay. The hallway's new. That's a lot. Okay, so I think what that tells me is I can or can't pick up the bucket, but I'm gonna experience something else this time. My office closed. What's down here? Is this the door decision? It is. All right, should I or should I not take the bucket this time? Because I can't go do the normal thing. So I guess I'm gonna not take the bucket.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So I know if I go through the door on my left and go up, there is some stuff to experience. And if I go through the door and go down, there seems to be nothing left to experience. So let's go find all the new things before we go right. Okay. This time we're going to go up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Does anyone who was here last time remember the code? They'll tell me, but sometimes it's fun to enter it early. They still have a panda getting shot in the head. Is it still business strategy? Yes, it is. Okay. Anything new in the bathroom? I found a collectible in here that one time, but there's a poem on the wall that changes periodically. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. That's fun. Okay. So coming in here, do we have anything new?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Well, great.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, so now we go down. Okay. We get a spinning wheel, but that's
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
So, as we come forward...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
So if I go forward, I do believe there's an ending I was unable to find last time, where the place is about to explode and I have a 2-minute timer, and I there was hints that I couldn't solve. I tried, but I couldn't figure it out, and I think there's an ending that I missed. But sure. Octopus, what you got? What's the secret? I love how when you answer something in chat, you get to discover how much of a delay. You can't stop it? No, that's a bummer. It feels like there should be a way to stop it. There were so many hints and so many clues, but I guess that's the joke. So then I guess I'm going into the escape. We're going to see what is over here.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
What? I don't want that.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
No, I think we're gonna deny
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
What? What's this? Did I die? Are we back to the beginning? What's happening?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
What's happening? Who is that? What? What is happening?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
How far this way can I go? That far. Nothing around here to see. Okay.
When
What
every
is
path you
this?
can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
It's dark. Is this a map of the game? Okay, yeah, my office. The blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the 2 doors was the first part of the game built section. Is this like the... Oh, there's like the BTS section? and added and altered throughout development, the core layout remains almost identical to the first. So we come here, then those windows you could go outside. Then we continue through into here. Right now we can pick up a bucket. That's from the new game. And you come out here and into the meeting room. Oh, no, not the meeting room. This is where you get to the decision of left or right. Okay. The two doors. The set of two open doors is the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Sure, because it tells you to go left. It says you must go left. Thus far, I've only go left. I don't know what happens when you go right. I remember doing it in 2013, but I don't actually remember what it is. Okay. That's a desk. The office. Buttons. Mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. Yeah. Okay. Oh, credits. We like credits. Shout out to these people. You know, every single one of them. A+ game work. Oh, this is the credits for the new team. I wonder if in the old game, if you got here, this was the credits for the original game. Because this is based on the work of the Stanley Parable 2013 team. Because this is by Crows. Office computer. Someone's playing solitaire. Dope. There's an employee database. Fine. And then there's just a loading screen. Great. What's left? Let's see what's over here. I don't know that I've found this. I wonder what this room is. This is new. An early version of the maintenance room. I haven't found the maintenance room. Where's the maintenance room? Oh, there's stairs up. Should I go up? Nah, I'm gonna go back and see what's right first. Seriously, shout out to Kevin Brighting, the narrator, who is truly incredible. All right, what do we got over here? The boss's office, yeah. Oh, development of. That's fun. That's fun. Office clock. Yeah, it's got good sound design. All right, it's up the stairs both times. Freedom ending. So I've found this ending. This is the one where you constantly follow the voice to the conclusion. And when you do it without the bucket, you escape. And when you do it with the bucket, you're trapped. So that would be... Okay. Monitor room elevator. Yep. Ah, yes, that's true. You used to be able to go up and down. That's interesting. Now, yes, you can only go up, and then you have decisions. That's interesting. Cool. That's very pretty. Oh. That's interesting. Okay. What's this? Countdown room. Yes. Oh, that's cool. What's this way? The Zending? Okay, I don't know what that is. Oh, because there's like a Z there. Okay, I don't know what this is. There are buttons. That's interesting. Escape menu. Oh, yeah, that would be frustrating. That's interesting. Zending. Okay. Ah, what's this? Trailers. We ran 4 major teaser trailers over the course of the game's development, each meant to convey something. May 2012. Sent a series of broken room in the voice of the narrator, avoiding that he is repairing a new version of the Stanley Parable. I wonder if I can get them to play them. No, it doesn't look like. Okay. Now, if I come back out here and go this way, will I get to the other stairs? Okay, meeting room. Wait, what's maintenance? How do I get to... If I disobey, I go to the lounge? Okay, so that's what happens if I go right. That's interesting. We have doorway to maintenance in the lounge, 2 doorways to maintenance. There's a confusion ending that way. The other entrance would be hidden depending on how you entered. Fascinating. 1 doorway to maintenance in the lounge and the original. Sure. And then there's a vent. All right, so there's 4 options I'm going to have to go explore to go right. Maintenance layout. The flow of hallways following the first 2 doors was important to get right since players will replay them so many times. Okay, so this is what they went with. All right, so that's something to look forward to when I go right. What's over here? Apartment timer. There's an apartment ending? What is the apartment? Oh. 2 endings based on how fast you pick up the phone. I don't even know what the apartment ending is. Cargo lift. Haven't found the cargo lift. And there's a version of the player falling to their death. Okay. Okay. It's interesting. Ah, these are the stairs from before. What's over here? This new war zone. We designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. Action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, people interpreted it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. Fascinating. Fascinating. I would probably also have that. That reinterpretation. Okay. It's over here. Narrator emails. After the second trailer we sent out, we asked people to email the narrator for questions, but we had initially planned to use these further promotional materials. We never found the perfect use of them, so here's some of the emails. Hi, Mr. Narrator Guy. What is your message for today? Fascinating. What else we got? There is a skeleton inside of you. There are more skeletons in this world than humans. Thanks and goodbye. Thank you. That's horrifying. I don't need to read all these. The lounge. Haven't made it to the lounge yet, but we know it's coming. So what's up these stairs? For here, Stanley's office. Left to right, the evolution of the office. Cool. That's the original. That's the change, and then we're in a room. Fascinating. I wonder why they did that little L-shaped change. Game design mock-up. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as an audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout is still in the game. Cool. Okay. Oh, I already did this. Oh, there's an ending.
Oh, look at these 2. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Well, it's currently on. I suppose I could set it to off. Maybe it'll reset the game?
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Oh!
But listen to me. You can still save these 2. You can stop the program before they both fail.
What?
Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
I'll let it happen.
Do choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Oh, is that it? It made a squish sound. If we get loading, that's usually it in the lower right. We got loading. I think we're back to the beginning. Okay. We're going to take 5 minutes. You're going to lose audio for just a second. We're going to just take 5 minutes because I'm going to go refill my water. And we will be back in 2 shakes of a tail. Oh, wow, that did not work out. I need to change that. Give me a sec. All right, I have finished chewing. I really need to fix that overlay. Didn't used to be like that, so that'll be something I work on in the between times. Welcome back. I am Ned. I have been eating a pork bun. We are streaming the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, and I'm having a really good time looking for new and exciting endings and things. The place we just went taught me a lot about how the game works, so hopefully there's something new to be found. Also, in really fun and exciting news, there's a second narrator that I've only found once, but I wonder if I can find her again. Also, I wonder what happens if I go to her with the bucket, which is what we're going to go do now. So here we go. Let's get this going.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, so we're coming to the room that tells us about the collectibles, of which we found 3 of 6.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Anything new in the bathroom? Nope, not yet. Well, hello, new friend Shelby Mustang. Welcome back to the stream.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
All right, now that the voiceover is done. Hi, Shelby. I don't like to talk over the narration because that's the whole feature of the game. Hey, that's exciting. Welcome to the world of Encounter Party. We are the...
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
We call ourselves the Party People. That is our little crew of listeners and creators alike, and then
2845.
The individual humans are a party person, and I'm really glad that you checked out the show. Yeah, narrator, I'm trying to talk to Shelby. Come on.
Forgot, but it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in.
But I clicked.
And the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Whoop-de-doo right back at you, narrator. Shelby, if you don't know, this is the Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable is a game about a narrator. It's all about choices. It's a commentary on game design and character choice, and they've released a new version 9 years later that has a bunch of new content while still being the original kick-ass game.
The elevator raced downward.
You are a party
towards
person,
an
Shelby
fate.
Mustang. We are the
It
party
would be
people.
all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
The narrator is always Mr. Sassy Pants, that's for sure.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
It's true that the podcast gets better, and the podcast is dope from episode 1. Octopus Totem here in the chat is also a party person. Perhaps even a cast member on the show. Who knows? I don't like to out people and who they are on the stream. I've accidentally said Octopus Totem's real name like twice, and I feel terrible about it. That's not cool.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it,
you can figure it out if you go to Twitter, I guess.
That at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
So we've both been threatened with death.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Okay. So it's the same thing here, and then if we drop, what happens? I also wonder if I listen to the lady and I cancel out the game earlier before I get to this point.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
If there's any way to get on that
Farewell, Stanley.
In other versions.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Okay, so we have the same experience, but now with a bucket. Do we end up in the same sort of situation as before? I wonder what happens now if there's a bucket.
The death of such a magnificent
New
bucket.
room.
It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Bucket welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You are now standing at the precipice of knowledge. Much like a bucket itself, the human mind is frequently empty within, a cavernous void. But through use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind becomes full and enriched, and it's substantiated. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we really have. Will you take what you learn here with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information in this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourselves and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were in ignorance and darkness? That's dark. What's the bucket exhibit about?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Brutal. Also, this feels like more than 25 buckets, which is perhaps the choice. Do you see anything in the picture? I see the number 3 on the right side, but I think that's just my eyes seeing patterns where there isn't anything. The string is gone. There was a string for the bucket. Oh, it got pulled up. Okay. I wonder if we can get up there to look at the bucket from up there. We'll find out. Bucket with 2 handles. This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Ugh. That's a lot. The only way we can go is up, and up we shall go. The Inferno Bucket, a replica of the Inferno Bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it medieval era is what I meant to say, that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains: no one can control a bucket. Which way? We'll go, I bet this way feels like it'll take me to go look at that bucket from up high. Hey, the Garytron, welcome. Good to have you. We're playing through the Stanley Parable. This makes me uncomfortable. I'm going back the other way for first. The stress bucket, an analogy. Oh, this is all it is. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance in there. Vulnerability equals the size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies equals holes. Stress equals the level of water in the bucket. Rest, relaxation, doing something you enjoy. Rest and relaxation. Wow. So the Stanley Parable, if you don't know the Garytron, is a game based on a narrator, where no matter what choice you make, you end up being narrated. And this is a new re-release with a bunch of new content of this game from 2013, and I'm very much enjoying. We're just on the hunt for narrations we haven't seen before, and this is all new for us. There's a cave drawing of people with buckets. While we know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. Yes, I agree with that analysis. Anything hiding back here? Can't go that way. So then we come up the stairs, very grand.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one.
And
it is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Something to note, the Garytron, is this narrator is completely new from the rest of the game. This is seems to be a female identifying voice. Enjoy that lurk. You have a good time. There's going to be a lot of voiceover for you to listen to, which might have you sneaking back in to say, what the heck am I looking at? The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance inevitably is for our own good. Well, this is where it ends. I wonder if I'm supposed to jump down this hole, because I can't go back. We're going to try it. We're going to take a jump. Oh, I can make it to the bucket. I picked up the bucket. What happened? What's up, Crispy?
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
Oh, no.
Let Stanley
We're back.
Die. Let him be crushed by the machine.
Oh,
Don't
no.
reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Oh, that was so much. This game really is incredible. This is the new Ultra Deluxe version with a bunch of new content, and I don't remember a lot of the game when I played it in 2013. We're back to the top. Okay, so the only two differences we can try that same route is to not take the bucket and then reset the game when she tells us to, and take the bucket and reset the game when she tells us not to. It's unclear if that will actually unlock any new content, however. We're gonna try it with Stanley without the bucket.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
This is new. Everything on the screen is new. The computer screens are new. That voiceover is new. That means there's something happening, and I don't know what it is. Any of these doors open? Okay, none of the doors open. So what's new? What's happening? The end is never the end is never the end is... Yeah, I know that's like your slogan here. Okay. Something's new. Anything in here open?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
How dare you? I think I'm gonna not take the bucket this time. Can you open? No. How about you? No. Can't open that. It looks like I should be able to go through there, though. What does it say? Sales in this quarter, projections. That's just a picture of a guy yelling woo. This does not make sense. Sure. Oh! The Garytron! What an amazing thing to post! What I appreciate that for. Thank you for doing so, and welcome to anyone who's jumping into Lurk. Thus far, we have only gone left, but we got to an area that told us there's a ton of choices if we go right. We're still gonna go left.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yep. Doesn't feel like anything's new now, just that little opening we had. Okay. Mission status. We still have... Y'all are so nice, thank you. I would really appreciate that. I'm a streamer whose whole thing is playing story-driven games and going on exciting stories for the audience to enjoy, and this felt like a game that would do that. I stopped playing Halo Infinite because it's not a very good, compelling watch. Wildermyth has proven to be a great way to do some fun storytelling, and we played Blade Runner for 6 hours last week, and I was gonna play Blade Runner again on Wednesday, but we will be returning on Wednesday evening Eastern Time. We will be at 7 o'clock Eastern. We will be live on the Legend Tree to play through Gloomhaven with Hopper Crane, Bill Heydrich, and Zach Norton. We've been playing through it slowly. Myself and Bill played the tabletop version. Took us 2.5 years to beat. And now we're playing it through with an eye towards character-driven decision-making as it relates to story and events. And we've been having a blast. Octopus has swung through, so that is not actually... Yes, Wednesday, Gloomhaven Octopus. That's not actually on my stream. That's going to be on over on the Legend Tree, _legend_tree. I may stream before it and then raid on over. Unclear what we're gonna do. But we will be live at 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, and I may stream a little before something else. But yeah, that's what's coming up. And then Friday, I'll be streaming Wildermyth again, unless I get tickets to go see Doctor Strange. But I am still recovering from the COVID.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Well, that's right, Octopus and the Garytron. Hey, look, the poem's different, because the boss knows that what the boss says goes. If the boss has suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. We've seen that one before. We still have gun to a panda's head. I really feel like there's got to be an ending where this elevator... Oh! That's new! It never let me press that before! Oh, we're doing it. Gary, you're just a true. I want to say match. What is this? Thank you. That's all I got. Narrator singing. Oh, we're singing in an elevator. Does the elevator go forever, or do we get to come out to somewhere new? And we just wanna press a button, I guess? Does it open? How's this work? Oh, I pressed a button. Where am I going? Hey! Thank you, Cabbage. Welcome to the stream. It's so lovely to have you. Oh, I'm back to where I was. Oh my God, more people. Fettuccine. Ah! This is so exciting. Thank you. We're gonna press we're gonna press this again, and we're gonna see where it takes me. Is it just elevator music again? My piano over here isn't hooked up to my mic right now, or else I would try to play along. And I guess I can't. Hi, Cabbage. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the follow. I'm Ned. I'm a streamer who tries to have really fun, story-driven streams for audiences to lose themselves in. Today we're taking her through the narration world of the Stanley Parable. Always a good time. I think this elevator is just a place to hear elevator music. It doesn't look like I can do anything else. Is it just me, or is that piece of paper glowing more than that piece of paper? Can I click it? No. Alright. Well, I guess I've experienced the elevator. It never let me do that before, so that's fun. Are we still the business strategy to shoot a panda in the head, I guess. There's so many lovely things happening in the chat. I'm really glad I'm doing a game where I have the chat on the screen all the time. I don't always have that be true, but this feels like the right time to see all the love fest in the chat. Welcome, everyone. I am Ned, and it's lovely to have you. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
I love this game because it's just a story that I get to go on and try and see what the narrator's got going on for me. We are going to go attempt an ending we've already found to see what happens when we follow the instructions instead of ignoring the instructions. Hey, thank you. All of y'all are so nice. You're doing me just a huge solid here, and I really greatly appreciate it, truly. I would love to thank you on Discord. If someone could, you can't post links in my chat because I got raided one time.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
This is not new content. However, there is a bucket you can carry with you at all times that gives you new content every time. I do remember this. If someone wants to, like, on Twitter or DM me somewhere, the Discord, I would love to come say thank you to all you lovely people. You can also find me on Discord, but I don't know my forward number code off the top of my head. Octopus, if you want to go check it out, I would appreciate that. We're going to go down Escape.
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Hey, Dreamweaver, welcome to the chat. I'm Ned, and all of y'all are just the nicest.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Right now, we're going through an ending
Stanley was making a conscious,
found.
Concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
But we are, I've already found this ending, but there was one option that potentially seemed like I could take it, and we're going to see what that does, and if it gets us any new content. We've already found some fun new content that I don't remember from 2013. For instance, Crispy, I walked out there's a window in the main office that you can actually walk out by jumping on a chair, and I don't remember if that was in the original game or not. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley. And now we're going to meet the new narrator that only seems to pop up in this ending.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
And we drop, and then we get to go into the behind-the-scenes area, which is fun. We're just going to run
and
through it
yet it
this
would be
time.
just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
Now, I wonder
What
if that's...
exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I wonder if...
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Oh,
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Are we talking about the peach cord? I'm in the peach cord. I am in the peach cord for sure. I thought maybe they were talking about a different Discord that I didn't know about. But I am a peach. I went to the same college as Mr. J. Schmidt, though not at the same time. And he and I are working on a project that I am woefully late on delivery for, but is supposedly coming. And I apologize to everyone for being late. But there's a fun project starring J. Schmidt that I'm producing coming hopefully soon if I get it done. Crispy, thank you. That would be great. At Ned Donovan on the Twitter.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Okay, so I click this switch, and then she tells me the only way I can get free is by restarting the game myself. Oh, they call themselves the Orchard. That's fun. So I'm going to click this. It's going to take me back to the thing, and then the voice tells me the only way I can be free is by restarting the game myself. And I'm going to try that and see if it takes me to a different ending or if it just restarts the game.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game.
All right, I'm going to do it. I don't want to quit, but I wonder if hitting restart, begin the game again. No, I'm going to quit to the menu because she's saying press quit. We're doing it. What does that do? Did I get anything? No. Okay. Wonder if I click credits if it gives me anything hidden. Anyway, we're going to click begin the game again, and we're going to see how this goes. Do I unlock anything new?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
All right, so it's the same intro as before. I thought.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Now, I do remember if you stay in the office long enough, the narrator yells at you, but I won't do that this run. So,
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
For your knowledge,
no matter
Crispy,
how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
You can go back and watch on the stream if you want to see, but if you get on this chair, you can now go out this window with some careful maneuvering. And I'd never experienced that before. I think that might be new for this game. Though, usually the game tells you when the content's new, like they will openly state it, or they'll have a bucket, and the bucket will tell you that it's new. And there wasn't anything new in there, so I'm wondering, I'm wondering if there's a, if that might have been there and I never found it before. We are not going to take the bucket this time. We are not going to take the bucket this time. That door had an... Ah! Why am I blocked here? This is new. What has changed? What has changed? That's a new block. Why does that say how the mighty have fallen? Wow, who's fallen? Can I get through this way? Well, this door had a number last time. Is this a... That's not anything. Okay. Why is there a stanchion there? Okay. We're gonna keep moving. We're not gonna take the bucket. And for the first time since we started streaming this game, we're gonna go right. And see what shows up on the other side, which we know is now the lounge.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, he did not.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Okay, so the lounge is this way. Haven't been this way yet, so we're just testing all the doors. Anything? Oh, the lounge.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Okay. I got surprised by the noise. Hello, new follower. Thank you for following.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Thank you. Is there anything else to stay in here for? Probably just him talking again.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
What a fascinating thing. Hi, Rex. Welcome to the chat. I'm Ned.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
I stream story-driven streams. I play games that the chat can get involved or even just close their eyes and go on a really fun story. So today we're playing the Stanley Parable and exploring all the narration options that I can find. I also stream the 1997 point-and-click Blade Runner. Did that last week for the first time. Had such a good time. We're going to go looking for the alternate endings in future streams. It takes about 5 hours, though. But now that I know what I'm doing, I think I can do it faster. And then... I've also been streaming Wildermyth on usually Fridays, and I'm probably going to start streaming Disco Elysium one of these days, which has a Twitch component where apparently you can do something. I can't find any description of what it is you can actually do while streaming Disco Elysium, but there's an overlay where you can do stuff. I don't know what it is.
But
I'm
at
excited
last,
to find
he'd
out.
had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Oh, is there anything through here? Oh, that's the meeting room. I also think this is the thing I had never seen. I don't remember seeing. Oh, should I continue forward or should I listen to the guy and then I'm probably actually going to sneakily go down this thing to the left? What should I do? What should I do? Left or straight? Left or straight? I know you guys are behind me, so you're going to have to hear me for a second. But I can't decide what I want to do. I think there's new content that way, and there's new content that way, and I don't know which one. I'm going left. Yes.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Okay, so this is if I go through there, I'll go back to the meeting room, which I don't want to do right now. We're going to go down this elevator. Here we go. What's down here? This is what was labeled as the maintenance elevator, I think, in that, like, behind the
But
scenes.
Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
Okay, can I open any of the other doors? I cannot. Okay, what's left?
Oh, no.
Oh,
no,
God.
it's to the right, my mistake.
Why was that so scary? Why did that scare me so much? Okay.
No, no, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
I don't know, man.
It's clearly... Oh, dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Okay. What's this way? Oh, this looks like somewhere red and blue. I think there's a collectible around here. Everyone keep your eyes out. Oh, I asked myself how I could get here earlier, and I didn't know how.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Do we think if I do it again, he yells at me for wasting his time twice, or should I take the bucket? That's the question here.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I love Mario Kart. I'm not great at it, and I would love to join you on a Sunday one of these days. Yay, streamers! This is a new, experience for me. I am a writer and an actor and a podcaster, and I get overwhelmed if I'm not releasing content a lot, and that stresses me out. And so I started streaming as a way to force my brain to be quiet. What's happening?
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh my god, way too many doors. Are they all the same? They are not all the same. Well, these are the two original doors. Hello, Spiffy Pop. Welcome to the chat, and thank you for the follow. I'm Ned. I'm a streamer who does story-based gaming, and today we're finding narration in the Stanley Parable. Oh my god, this is overwhelming. Also, sorry for the noise outside my window. I have the coronavirus, though I'm on the mend. I'm on the backside of it, and I have to keep all the windows open if I'm not going to be masked up.
I'll say it.
House.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Wait, that looked like a room that was worth something. Can I go back there again? Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So the bucket's not here, which suggests that we are in a loop, probably from the original game, that I can't get out of, because there's no bucket for me to pick up right here, which suggests that this is a loop from the original game, for sure. Oh no, now there's no doors.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Okay. So I could do this earlier. This is one of the things I do remember. I've never played Among Us. People talk about it a lot, and I never got in on the craze, so I would love to try it out. This Wednesday, however, I'll be playing Gloomhaven on the Legend Tree, _legend_tree. Would love for you all to come hang out and enjoy that experience. It's a lot like my Wildermyth streams, but with more people.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
This is a lot. Oh my god, this is horrifying. What is...
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Hey!
Congratulations!
We can win? That's
I
exciting.
know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Okay, where am I ending up this time? So this is new, because that says the Stanley Parable 2 adventure line. So that is a new experience, though I wonder if they just did a copy-paste, like anytime it says the Stanley Parable, just add a 2.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
This is a new door. I could choose not to follow the line, but I think I'm going to, because this is something I haven't experienced before, and I don't know how hard it is to get the line again. So let's follow the line. I've been trying to come back here for a while, so this is fun. This is exciting.
You
What's
see,
back here?
the line knows where the story is. It's
That's
over in this
stressful.
direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay, now if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
So much. Wait. What? This is so trippy. Look at this. If I go this way, there is a line. Ah! I somehow went backwards.
Cut the music.
Yeah,
Go
thank
back
you.
and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Apologies, Blacksmith. I got raided a few weeks back, and so my Nightbot is a little bit more trigger-happy than normal. I still need to adjust it, and I keep adjusting it, and it keeps not being enough. I actually like typing in all caps, too, so I need to turn that off. That is a nice fern. We're going to keep moving on, though.
Wait,
oh, my God.
We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Just searching for other options. Following the line. What's this door? Nothing. Ah, we're back here again.
Oh, no, not again, Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Okay, we're back to the top. Oh, this time the 2 is gone. That's interesting. So that said 2 before. I now have no
You know
name.
what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay. What's this way?
Now,
Narrator, you guys
yes,
are really
this is exciting.
fast.
Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
It's really demanding my attention, though, narrator. Oh, it's gone.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
Oh.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Deviate from maintenance room, end up in monitor room, restart the game. 2 doors has now additional doors. Aimless wandering, restart the game. Office is now a dead end, turn around, find another dead end, end up in another building. Restart the game. Adventure line, nonsense philosophy and music. Return to the office, return to the monitor room. Adventure into unexplored territory, find the line again. 5th restart. Now we have the narrator forgets about previous restarts. What happens next? Stanley attempts to play the story but is prevented, unable to go anywhere or do anything. The game restarts on its own. 6th, find the line again, begin following the line, find an identical replica of the office. Has begun to deteriorate. Attempt to make up a story here. Restart. There's no longer an office, simply black space, water in the darkness, find a bookstore, get bored, and leave. Narrator restarts the game. The narrator is gone, and then Stanley dies? Holy crap.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
Am I supposed to do it?
And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
What?
So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. Okay. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Okay, so next was play the game, narrator
the meeting
forgets.
room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
That's a new narration. The bucket is back. I don't think I want to pick up the bucket yet in case I'm still in a loop and picking up the bucket breaks it, because I want to get all the way to the end. I want to find a bookstore. That game, that ending said that I would find a bookstore.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Though I meant to take the bucket down.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
So if I go back down there, I'm going to end back in the monitor room and reset that loop. And I would like to do that with the bucket. So we're going to go straight this time. Unless I'm still in the confusion ending. What is that? Oh, this is the cargo elevator that it was talking about. Cool.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
So this said there were 2 possible endings for the cargo elevator. Following the cargo elevator, jumping to your death, and jumping onto the catwalk. So first we'll follow the cargo elevator.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What?
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Who is her?
She's been waiting.
Who's been waiting? Oh, they did mention my wife in another ending earlier. Maybe this is my wife? Ah!
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
It would be great if she was the bucket. I think this ending's from 2013 and the bucket is new to the game. Alright. Oh, is her name Fern? It could be, for they said Fern was very important. What's happening? 427? My employee number and
Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Ah! Oh, I...
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? Ouch. I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Wow, well... Joke's on you. I'm married to an incredible woman. So
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Jesus Christ. I don't want to press I on my keyboard. Okay?
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
The cake is a lie in this game, that's true. I wish Jonathan Colton would show up and sing me a song, though.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
That's true, he did sing a song, but it wasn't Jonathan Colton.
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
I would like to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
This is depressing.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Thanks, Nightbot.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions, and down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
A game with a baby? That's new. Somewhere there's a game with a baby?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Shout out to Walter Mitty. I would like to tell my wife I love her.
But there is no answer.
To my wife,
How could
Jenny,
there possibly
I love
be?
you.
In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Okay, I can go to sleep, I guess.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm gonna do it.
You see? Can he just not hear me?
I'm back.
How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
I question nothing.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Like the last
and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again.
Maybe this time.
And I tried.
Oof, I didn't press a button. But I died anyway, apparently. Bummer. Alright, this time I'm taking the bucket down. Thanks, Crispy. I will absolutely swing through. This time I'm gonna take the bucket and go down the
all of his co-workers were
maintenance
Wait,
elevator.
No, this isn't the right office, is it?
What?
Is this Stanley's office?
Yes. Oh, the narrator forgets everything. This was the confusion ending still. We're taking the bucket.
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket, off on another thrilling adventure together.
Okay.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Does he say anything more if I stand here like when I was here without the bucket? It doesn't look like.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right, then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Okay.
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home, here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
Okay, rule of threes. I think he's done.
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business. And
Yes.
so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Nope.
Oh, good Stanley, I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
There's the baby. But could the baby exist? There must be a different ending with a baby. Yes, thank you to all. Thank you, absolutely everyone. And the Garytron, thank you for bringing people into the stream. It's been a true joy. I can't thank it.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new.
It's gonna pause. I have to allow.
Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Okay. I had to pause briefly because Crispy Ninja sent a thing and my auto mod snagged it. And I had to approve it. Because I think there's a deadline. Anything in here? Nope. Okay. Anything? Oh, can't go back there.
Whee!
Oh,
Look at that
God.
wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Oh, my music's back.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Jesus.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Don't make me give up the bucket. I like the bucket. None of these doors work. Yeah, Crispy, it didn't like the words "you're fake," which is hilarious. It called them bullying. Remember when we killed the bucket and we jumped out the window? Killing the bucket was very, very stressful. Good Lord, this is
Don't
horrifying.
you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
no!
I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
No, I want to keep my bucket.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you.
No!
Go
I
ahead
won't.
now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
I absolutely will not. Is that a button or a light? It's a light.
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
That's a button.
I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters?
Yeah.
Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say
There's no
that
other
about?
button?
The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this.
None.
Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We
No, I
can't
don't.
get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Oh! I thought this was the Halo theme for a second.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Oh, God. No, you weren't. I very much preferred the not Bucket Destroyer to the Bucket Destroyer. Are we done? We're going back to the Bucket Destroyer. We are admittedly going to feed the bucket to the Bucket Destroyer. That is something. Ah! All right, we're taking the bucket.
Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be perfectly fine with him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Well, we are going to feed the bucket to the Bucket Destroyer this time.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you,
The
Stanley.
truck's in the way.
We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Get the music track.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers. Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up. Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud
thanks,
to introduce
Crispy.
a
Be
brand
well.
new character. This
It's been so
is
good
the
to have you swing
Bucket
through.
Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
I'm going to be wrapping up here.
Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does?
Do one more after
Surely you don't need me to
bucket.
spell it out for you.
We're gonna, take a pause.
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
Oh my god, it looks at me! Look at it! Oh, so I
Now
can't...
listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets
So
is
that
all
is a
it knows.
singular
That
ending.
is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer,
trying.
you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Well, okay then. So this is a singular ending. Alright, that makes sense. I think I'm gonna switch... past this. I think I'm going to hit begin the game again because we've already done it. And I'm going to go back to the cargo elevator and I'm going to jump down to the ground.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Now I have 3 collectibles to find and I still haven't found them, and that stresses me out because I feel like I've seen a good chunk of this game.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection between the two? Could a man love a room? I mean, truly, truly, deeply, madly love.
Wow, that's new dialogue.
Yes, really worth it being here. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, he did not.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
That was way faster than anticipated. All right, I'm going to do it again and take the catwalk option. Because then I'll do it next time I stream it, I'll do it with the bucket.
Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
All right, so I think we're still potentially in the confusion ending?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
It's very confuzzled.
The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic. Like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of this exact room. It all made Stanley uncomfortable, and he started to bleed a little. This made him smile.
What?
At last, proof that he was human.
That's so... Ah! See if they give me the same second dialogue round.
Yes,
yeah, okay.
Really. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Okay. We're on the hunt for collectibles, everybody.
Now listen carefully, this is important.
Somewhere red and somewhere blue.
Stanley walked
there it is!
through the red door. Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
I think it's Stanurines. That's my opinion. All right, so he said I had to go through the red door. We'll listen to him this time. Obviously, we've got some stuff to do.
Thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
What happens if I keep going? Oh, it always brings me back here. That's wild. Okay.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
What is this?
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
That's so nice, narrator. But I think I'm gonna keep moving.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Want me to come back?
Right. Where were we?
Oh, I remember this.
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Content warning. This ending is really dark. For anyone in here who wants to avoid dark content that might be mildly triggering.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God you lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving. Stanley, go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
I'm just looking for everything you might be able to say, my friend. Not adding anything to the discourse, so we're gonna keep moving.
No, what are you doing? Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
I can, narrator.
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Okay. Now we're going back. Trigger another dialogue.
No, perhaps not.
Good night, Shelby. Thank you for swinging through. I'll be back Wednesday, but on a different channel. But if you follow me on social, I'll also just host it over here so that you can swing through. The Gloomhaven streams truly are a great time if you're looking for, you know, more turn-based RPG with multiple very fun people. We'll be on the_legend_tree is the user.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
Sorry, narrator.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me?
The latter. I am just teasing you.
I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
Sorry, narrator. You seem very nice.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Oh, this is very new. I don't want to end it because these new ones are hard to come back to. So I guess I got to do one more, which is fine because that last one's kind of a.
All of his
downer.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh, this is the whiteboard ending.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But I can turn on dog mode now. Which just means that every time I click, it barks. There's the bucket. I guess technically it is time to take the bucket if I'm going to continue looking at
A good
things.
bucket. A strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and distinction. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Yeah, dog mode's
And
great.
here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
So we're going to take the bucket to meet
Stanley
my
took
wife,
the door
and
on
then
his
we're going to
left
be done for
to
the
go
night.
back to the meeting room,
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Terrified the
Stanley
bucket's
did
gonna
not
tell me to,
question
like,
why or
kill
how
my
this
wife.
bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
I will. Ah,
Now pick up the phone.
said the bucket.
Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket.
Ugh.
Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Brutal. It's a nicer apartment than I had before. Oh, there's a bucket. It has all my stickers. Hello, Stanley. It's me, your bucket, plus X to take me to work with you. Plus, Ned.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
But here we are in my office. And here's my bucket. Press N to take me back home with you. What happens if I don't? What happens if I walk out here? Can I still go out the window in this version? No, I cannot. Okay. Oh, I can't go this way. All right. Let's go back home.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Bucket. Let's go to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
But here it is, my bucket. Don't listen to the loud man. Yeah, I like the bucket more than I like the narrator.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Oh, there it is. Ignore anyone in the life except the bucket. Yes, bucket. Let's do this.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You're gonna get your own bucket. You're gonna get mad at me because I have a bucket. I do believe you're real, bucket. Let's go back home.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Yeah, it's also watching TV now. Relive this same day with you over and over. I'll go to the ends of the earth with you, bucket.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
You get it, narrator. You get it now.
Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Okay. Oh, the door's open. This is creepy. Did the bucket light me candles? I don't know that I like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was down with the bucket until they tried to make it, like, sensual. I don't need a sexual experience with the bucket. I don't like this. This is not what I want. I don't like it. No.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me.
Bucket.
Give me the bucket, Stanley. I
dare
need it.
you.
Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Oh, God. What? Okay. That's it? I mean, there might be a consequence of that, but I think that's where we're gonna hold. Yeah, this is where we're gonna pause. So, hi everyone. Thank you so much for swinging through the stream. It's been honestly awesome to have all of you. And thank you so much for everyone who decided to swing through for the first time. I'm Ned. I'm an actor, singer, producer, writer, podcaster. And I stream 2 to 3 times a week, always story and character-driven stuff that I hope you'll enjoy in the chat. I try to find games that'll be more fun or as fun to experience in real time story-wise than they are to play. And the Stanley Parable is one of my favorite games from 2013, and I'm really excited to be diving back through it with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. I will stream this probably again next week. For the rest of the week, on Wednesday, I will be streaming on the_legend_tree, and that live stream will be for Gloomhaven. I'm playing it through with Zach Norton, Hopper Crane, and Bill Heydrich, all who are featured on the Manapot Studios, which is another channel you should be checking out absolutely, especially if you're a tabletop role-playing game fan. And we will be streaming on Hopper Crane's The Legend Tree. It is their original content platform, the_legend_tree. And the 4 of us will be taking on Gloomhaven, looking for story and character, and getting into the nitty-gritty of the game. If you've never played Gloomhaven, it is a blast. The Steam port is phenomenal, and I think you'll really enjoy that stream and really enjoy following all the people involved. Separately, on Friday, I will be streaming Wildermyth again. That is a Gloomhaven similar, but a very deep story and character-driven, very emotional paper RPG game from Steam that I think you'll very much enjoy. Thank you again. You can find me at Ned Donovan, wherever you do your at Ned Donovan stuff. If you're also a fan of tabletop role-playing, check out my podcast Encounter Party. We are 6 professional voice actors battling through an epic Ravnica Dungeons & Dragons campaign that is heavily edited to edit out fluff and filler and deliver you pure action all the time. We have charted for comedy fiction in 50 countries. We were featured at the top of Apple's new and noteworthy charts, and we have ranked #1 in 10 countries for comedy fiction, including the United States of America. So please check us out. We've been featured by Nerdist, Sci-Fi. There are 3 seasons for you to enjoy right now that create a whole first campaign, and we have some really exciting stuff coming up that we just can't talk about yet about the second campaign, which is what we've been saying for months, but I swear I spend a significant amount of my week working on that, and the moment I'm allowed to tell you anything, I will tell you. Until then, thank you so much for swinging through. It's been an absolute joy. I will be hosting Gloomhaven here on this channel, just in case you would like to see what's going on. But the_legend_tree is the chat we will all be hanging out in. And have a wonderful rest of your Monday. I'm going to go DM my first campaign that I am DMing by myself, and I'm very excited. Everyone have a lovely night. Thank you so much. Peace.